Welcome back. Warhammer 40K, Rogue Trader, where last time we were exploring space. Still, we explored all of space actually, that we can at this point in the game. Yeah. Be gone. All right, and yeah, we came into a system that had a world that we could explore. So that was fancy. We also came across a world that we did not go into that immediately. We explored the rest of the system first, and we found a cult on one of them. Basically worshiping like this big old disc in the sky. And so I sort of like played along with them. And they were like, yes, you can become the harbinger of the disc or whatever. And I was like, sure, okay. And then they took me on this like pilgrimage, or like they said I could be like the chariot of something. So they took me on this like pilgrimage to go meet this entity, and it was like some sort of warp entity, and we killed it. We killed the fuck out of it. This was all like in a narrative vignette. Um, and Yeah, we destroyed it and liberated the colonists on this planet. Um, and They were very thankful through a celebration and all that. And are going to like offer tithes and stuff. We didn't get like an official colony for it. Um, Yeah, we then went to that other planet in the system, and it was kind of like this wreckage of a ship, or like this old ship that was supposed to be sort of like a colonial base, like a colony ship. And Yeah, as we kind of explored, there were like some spooky things happening. Kind of gave me some alien vibes. Like like you got that classic like pipe, like bursting sounds and whatnot. Yeah, we were like found this like journal on a body that was basically talking about how there was basically like this schism that happened on the ship. It was like a religious pilgrimage, um, led by like this reverend or something. Um, Yeah, there was a schism that happened. A like new cult formed. Um, like yeah, there was like tensions between the cult and the ship, and then they touched down on the planet and kind of went their separate ways, making like their own kind of like little separate colonies. And at one point, um, there was like a kidnapping, a killing. I think it was a kidnapping, um, or something, and there was like this one guy who was acting as kind of like a mediator between two factions. He like stayed in the ship instead of going out on the colonies. Um, and Like yeah, the one group came to them. I think it was the cult that came to them and was like, "Hey, our leader guy was kidnapped by the other faction. Can you help us like get him back?" And he's like, "All right, sure." Went to the other faction, and the faction like seemed to be apologetic or something. Um, Yeah, we continued on into this old colony ship, and we eventually found a vox caster there, and we were speaking to them, and they were kind of very cultish. And he started speaking a little bit of heresy. Um, Yeah, he let out like this weird. Uh, when we were basically about to like arrest him for heretical nonsense, he like let out this screech and fucking exploded. He didn't explode. He attacked us, and then us killing him caused him to explode. And then some gene stealers came out from like the vents, I guess. Like yeah, he said he had like summoned his allies and whatnot. And kind of alerting the gene stealers that were here. Gene stealers are Tyranids, like they're like a Tyranid infection, I guess. That they kind of like get into your system and kind of take over your like mind and body. And basically you start doing Tyranid shit. Like infiltrating. They're basically Tyranid spies. So you start infiltrating like other societies, and like the other societies don't know because you've literally just the Tyranids have literally just taken over one of that societal person's bodies, um, making way for a Tyranid invasion. Um, and yeah, so we killed a bunch of gene stealers on the way out of this place and left. So I guess the nearby planet that had that cult, y'all lucked the fuck out that we took care of this gene stealer cult for you. We then went on to the next system over, which was like the last chance of Cyrene or something like that. Which we had to go to claim a cache that Irlet told us about, which we got it. And there was this big old ring in the middle of the system. When we went to, everybody was like, "That's a webway gate," and Irlet was like, "Yep, that's a webway gate," and we're like, "Thank you." Yeah, we couldn't do anything with it. We were like, "Can we activate it?" And it's like, "No, we don't have the technology." And also probably shouldn't do that unless we want the Inquisition on our ass. And we're like, okay. We just kind of left it alone. We then went galactic south into another planet. Got attacked by Odaris. Sorry, Irlet. And came across a Hulk that kind of like a bit of a repeat encounter. There's like this damaged Hulk, and you know, we wanted to like rescue them or something, but like they refused or were already. I think they were all like all of the Eldari in the ship were already dead. And yeah. After that, we went to Muro something because we had found, I guess, enough pieces of an ancient mechanism that it pointed us to a wreckage there. And we went to this planet, found a ship in a big old chasm, and basically just looted it. I don't think there was anything else there, really. Yeah. And then all the while that we're doing this, we're also, like, you know, upgrading our colonies and whatnot, getting some colony events here or there. Yeah. That's what happened last time. This time, we'll probably continue with the colony events. We might start Darkonis, though. That's main story. So for those of you that are lurking and trying to avoid spoilers, watch out for that. Spoilerinos, you know. The reaping. Not even sprawling agri-complex really can cover the whole of the planet's fertile expanse. Gargantuan tract mega harvesters will come to their aid. They will. They will wander the planet for months. Each one operated by its assigned clan of serfs who are born, live, and die in the bowels of these great machines. These giants will reap harvests with their toothed jaws, break open the soil with their plasteel plows, and drink the swampy lowlands dry with their thirsty hydro pumps, spewing the water forth down upon the arid hills. Sounds so sinister. You know, it sounds so spooky the way they put that. We're gonna execute it. The Reapening. The rest of these, I'm kind of waiting for like this. I would like this. But I didn't get Bonfires of the Righteous because I didn't want to start a fucking purge on the planet. And there's like also these. Ooh. Alright. Gonna check the map, make sure I haven't, like, not uncovered any pathways. Without old school. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Doesn't seem like it. There, what, a good third of the map, I suppose. Alright. Okay. Anyone that we need to bring with us there. It'll bring my stuff up to? No. Five promethium, 5 chemicals. I feel like that's just not worth it for like 12. You know? Like 12 people. We don't even get 12 things back. You know? Right. Let us visit Mundus Valancius. Lord Captain, Master Helmsman on the line. I can report that the quest for the capital world of the Von Valancius dynasty is finally at an end. Dargonus is straight ahead. We have received countless greetings. Your subjects would like to know when their mistress will be arriving. The merchant captains taking refuge in the orbital docks of Dargonus race to send you priceless welcoming gifts, hoping to buy your favor and to make an impression on the rogue trader. Dargonus, the rogue trader, is coming home. It will be done, Lord Captain. After the connection to the Master Helmsman is cut, the device crackles with Heinrich's voice. Spiders in a jar. What the fuck does that mean? Lord Captain, I will be pleased to accompany you during your visit to Dargonus, so I can personally introduce Achilles Scalander, a servant of the Golden Throne who previously attended Lady Theodora on Dargonus. I'm counting on your benevolence. The Voxcast ends with a click. Hold on, let me just, scan the rest of the place. Boop. Them crystals. Oh. Intriguing surface topography. It is possible that the molten rock of the mantle poured out as a consequence of the natural cataclysm or collision with the celestial body. So we got an Adeptus Mechanicus ship here, so let's go visit them. Lord Captain, a transport shuttle bearing the markings of the Adeptus Mechanicus is approaching the ship. Magos Tarzus' delegation intends to board our ship and gain an audience with your ladyship. This is exactly how they phrased it. He intends, not humbly requests. Many of my tech comrades neglect diplomacy when interacting with the laity. It is regrettable. What do they want? The honorable servants of the Omnissiah have ignored our request. Such arrogance is hardly trivial. It rather appears to be part of their intimidation tactics. Punish them for the disrespect by letting them dock at the furthest and most dilapidated airlock so that it takes them an eternity to traverse the ship. No, let them in. It will be done, Lord Captain. Requesting permission to be present at the audience granted to my tech comrades. Right. What is this? What do the tech bros want? 69%. The trophy. What is this? Opticon.
One step at a time, amidst the madness.
A group dressed in the crimson of the priesthood of Mars walks towards you. Their gazes are fixed on Pascal. You note that the group are not monolithic. Some of its members are more heavily armed and follow a large tech priest clad in battle armor. Others keep a respectful distance and cast inquiring looks at their own leader, whose hunched posture belies his tall frame. Despite the hood hiding his face, you recognize him as Opticon 22, whom you encountered on Footfall. The enormous tech priest points his hand at Pascal and lets out a booming roar not unlike a factory alarm. It makes your very bones vibrate. Herald servo skulls marked with the emblem of the cog follow in his wake. They blare shrilly. Thou shalt not suffer a heretic in thy forge, for rust begets rust. Pascal Newman, in the name of the Adeptus Mechanicus, you are under arrest. The hunched servant of the Omnissiah turns to you. Diplomacy mode engaged. Announcement. The Adeptus Mechanicus offer their apologies. Would like to inform you of the necessity of conducting an operation to detain, arrest, terminate a faulty unit on the rogue trader's territory. Who are you? In a burst of chattering, the servo skulls hastened to translate their master's mighty binaric howl. An instrument of the Omniscience authorized to punish and exact vengeance, known by the designation Tarsus Hanuman. Identification codes recognized and confirmed. These units are who they declare themselves to be. Study 'em. You identify the rare armor the enormous tech priest is wearing as a secutor's plated, mechanized suit. It carries the imprints of many battles and has markings that announce its status as a relic. Some of the armor's damage looks fairly severe, to the point of endangering its operation. Gain 69 XP, hell yeah. The slivers of flesh revealed under the steel are marked with terrible chemical burns. Every now and then, convulsions shake the tech priest's body, and a painful-sounding hiss comes from his vox. The tall tech priest who spoke to you looks more peaceful and makes a point of not drawing his weapon. There is an air of concern about the way he frequently glances over at his fellow, scrutinizing his condition. On what charge are you trying to arrest a member of my retinue? This heretic is accused of stealing personal identification codes, spreading tech heresy on the world of Kiava Gamma, and making an attempt on the life of a servant of the Omniscience. The deafening roar from the tech priest's vox makes you grimace in pain. You touch your ear and notice blood on your fingers. The faulty unit will be removed. In the name of the Omniscience, I condemn you. Lightning flashes across the warrior's armor. Agony resounds in the blare of his vox alarm. In contrast, Pascal speaks quietly and coldly. You are malfunctioning, tech comrade. I deem your logical conclusions questionable. The statement is false. Tech brother Tarsus Hanuman is willingly undergoing holy torment deterioration, which however does not critically affect his cognitive ability for data analysis. Unit calling itself Pascal Hanuman. We have information that implicates you. Having learned that you are a member of the retinue, a maintenance specialist in the service of the rogue trader von Valankis, we have come here with the goal of meeting you, intercepting you, engaging you in combat. Does the big fellow have to roar? Do you have proof that this tech priest is who he claims to be? How do you suppose Pascal was involved in the events on Yava Gamma? Our data suggests that the unit which used Magos Explorator Hanuman's identification code performed an unauthorized upgrade on the planetary Vox array and introduced data deemed to be scrap code into its operation. This fact points to this unit's criminal complicity with the heretic Cubus Delphum. Do you have proof that this tech priest is who he claims to be? Confirmed. According to the archive entry 1E-99237, Magos Explorator Tarsus Hanuman served on/maintained the ship, identifier classified, in the capacity of a reliquary caretaker. He sustained extensive damage to both the organic and the sacred part of his body in a series of sacrilegious breaches of the right of operation/an assassination attempt. Owing to a statistically fortunate coincidence by the Omniscience's grace, enough of his operational capacity was preserved for him to don a Goliath model sacred battle harness, which would provide his vital functions/functionality. Archive entry personally data slated by the captain of the identifier classified. The sounds from the tech priest's vox is like the moan of a bending steel beam. A servo skull declares, For vengeance I thirst, as I tread the path of vengeance, following a blasphemous miscreant's bloody tracks. An analysis of the security system showed that the assassin's heretics infiltrated the reliquary using Tech Brother Tarsus's unique identification code. Someone had stolen, duplicated Brother Tarsus's identity, which is a grade 3 transgression, and the unit making the allegedly criminal claim of being Pascal Hanuman is known to have previously entered the stolen code. Big fellow have to roar? Negative. Upon completing his sanctification procedure, Tech Brother Tarvis modified his engrammatic augmetics algorithm in order never to desecrate, solely tarnish his Malvox cognitive process with flesh speak. Servo Skull's screech. Mine is a pure and binheric tongue that preserves only what is true and shuns scrap data. You saying this bloodthirsty Hulk is a saint? This statement is true. Brother Tarsus has the honor of wearing / authorization to wear the sacred battle harness that belonged to Magos Militant Auspector Gracchus, one of the first champions of the faith Holy Scouts to join the cause of conquering the Coroner's Expanse, after his death / the termination of his vital functions at the hands of Xenos. His damaged Goliath-class armor was preserved and given the status of a relic. The Adeptus Mechanicus regards this act as voluntary martyrdom / self-destruction for the glory of the Deus Mechanicus. This battle harness is classified as Cogni armor. The machine spirit living in it is strong and wise, but it took major damage in the course of Magos Gracchus's last battle. Besides sacred litanies and imperatives of service to the Omniscience, the armor broadcasts a continuous signal of suffering and agony into Tech Brother Tarvis's mind. What do you say to this, Pascal? Pascal replies firmly, his vox crackling with a hint of indignation. I deny these charges. I never plotted against my tech comrade. My cognitive purity vows were never distorted. My unique identification code was never stolen. I am the true Magos explorator Hanuman, and I am not guilty. The tech priest's deep, guttural roar blends with the Servo Skull's high-pitched whine. False witness. I'm not handing Pascal over to you unless I see evidence. Let us get to the bottom of this matter together. Request approved. Ready to work in cooperative mode. Tarsus gives you a haughty look and lets out a howl of wrath. Archiving. Tech Brother Tarsus opposes lay participation in the investigation / search for truth. The unit Opticon 22 advises in favor of the House von Valankis representatives' participation request. I insist on a joint investigation. Arresting a Road Trader's retinue member without any justification stands in breach of the law and my privileges under the warrant of trade. I have been to Kiava Gamma, and I can assure you Pascal has nothing to do with it. That one. Kiava Gamma. Request for cooperation reviewed and accepted. I request Tech Brother Tarsus' consent to the co-participation of representatives of the Von Valankis dynasty in the investigation proceedings. Another 69 XP. A sacrilegious conspiracy. I refuse help from laypersons. I am a cog of the Deus Mechanicus that grinds down corruption, and I will carry out the sentence immediately. Pascal freezes, but green sparks light up in his visor. He extends a hand toward Tarsus and replies in a clanging voice, Let the cycle be discontinued. You realize Pascal's words are coming from both his own Vox and Tarzas's. Then, every sensor on the executioner's battle harness lights up at once, blindingly, and the wounded armored Leviathan lets out a deafening roar of pain. Attention! Priority notification. Service units of the cap... Oh, Jesus. Honor after that, jeez. Attention! Priority notification. Service units of the Kappa Threads supply line are unauthorized to confront the rogue trader. Command, retreat, and re-initiate negotiations. Heretic Pascal. Estimated probability of conflict.
Another annoyance.
Well, I'm going way back there. Back line all the way back in. Oh. Ow. Okay.
A wicked thought.
All right, buddy. Yeah, all up in there. Bzz. You're good. You're good. Oh, sharpshooter. Don't like that. Vicar, I don't know what that means. Fine. I like that my first turn I don't have to rebound that shit. Alright. 18%.
I'll do it.
Rat. Alright. I had a feeling that would happen.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Nice. Okay, that was an officer. Oh, he's attacking his own buddies. He's just wailing on his own friends. Here, wail on them some more. I didn't even realize I got that one. Alright. then I can kill. Good shit. Alright. Alright. 5% damage for every 10 stacks. Boop. Next attack will ignore cover and will have double the effective distance. Ignore enemy dodge. Additionally, the damage from this attack cannot be reduced below 54%. And what's this one? Strong point. Set that up right there. Yeah, now we kill this and the servitor. No. Good shit.
Am I getting paid for this?
Job? All right.
I will do my duty.
And a little bit of that.
My vow is to serve.
A little more of that.
Running binary override. The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
And then Nice toughness. On to target him. There he goes.
Power resides in the will of the righteous.
Damn. Right.
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Might have just made you. Oh, no, no. Requesting cessation of hostilities. Help your brother. Pascal, what have you done to Tarsus? Sorry you had to kill a comrade. Help your brother. The unit that called itself Tarsus Hanuman is dead, has been disabled. This material asset is beyond restoration or reuse as spare parts. After a pause, Pascal bows his head and a biheric requiem pours out of his box. Despite his misconceptions, he was a servant of the Omnissiah. What did you do to Tarsus? Pascal confusedly replies. Confused reply comes from his box in a rasp. Unable to fulfill request. The Omnissiah granted me an epiphany, and I muted the maimed machine spirit that was filling Tarsus's mind with fury. I do not fully understand the manner of my appeal to it. The situation perfectly mirrors the incident on Rykad Minoris, where I appealed to the machine spirit of malfunctioning mechanism and laid it to rest. Sorry you had to kill a tech comrade. I also have a negative assessment of this event. The Adeptus Mechanicus still accuse the unit identifying itself as Pascal Hanuman of criminal theft of a unique identification code. Unlike Tech Brother Tarsus, I am not authorized to immediately arrest/execute the unit, but neither am I authorized to drop the inquiry. There are no apostates among us. The piercing voice from the Vox synth is more overwhelming than Tarsus's thunderous roar. Tech Brother Tarsus and the machine spirit that lived in his battle harness succumbed to the suffering that beset them. Their judgment was rash and erroneous. Now their torment is over. I declare them martyrs, and am requisitioning Tarsus Hanuman's neural augmetic for the purposes of preserving his blessed memory. As the astonished tech priests look on, Pascal leans over the slain man's body and extracts the augmetic from his skull. His movements are as precise as they are respectful. Pascal, whatever you just did, it's working. Keep going. Uh, Listen in silence. Each word, Pascal's voice grows more powerful and majestic. You saw the agony your tech brother Tarsus was in. His unbridled, pain-spurred faith intimidated you, yet you were silent. Reverence stopped you from raising your voices to proclaim that the machine spirit with which his mind had merged was morbidly afflicted. The imperative of reverence had paralyzed your will, and you watched a tragedy unfold in silence. The sixth universal law states that comprehension is the true path to knowledge, yet the procedural cycle has robbed you of your comprehension. Therefore, let the cycle be discontinued. There is a clang as Opticon's knee presses into the floor. Crimson hooded heads are bowed. Let the cycle be discontinued. The radiant light pouring out of Pascal's visor grows dimmer. Static creeps back into his voice. Let the cycle be discontinued. Tech comrades. Pascal, there is one small point I'm not clear on. What the fuck just happened? Pascal's box synth crackles somewhat tentatively. I decided to sustain my words with an excerpt from one of the Blessed Armanaut's sermons on loss of internal and external function. Verse 4. My analysis deemed it appropriate. What was the reason for that act of genuflection? It has been a long time since the words of the Messiah of discontinuing were last spoken openly over public communication bans. We respectfully welcome wisdom's return. So he is not forgotten after all. The Messiah of discontinuing? Is that how you refer to Armanaut? Following Archmagos Armanaut's partial lyciation, removal from the chain of command. That was the authorship attribution on a series of sermons discontinuing the cycle that were disseminated across the Cognizance fleet. New word to look up. Lyciation. Loss of clerical state. Cessation of all rights of the clerical state. It also terminates all obligations of the clerical state except for the obligation. Okay. To free from ecclesiastical control, give over to lay people to change the lay status. Alright. It was, in fact, a title used by many in times past. Is Armanaut's teachings not heretical? This statement is false, contrary to what many servants of the Omnissiah thought they knew preferred to believe. The fleet's Supreme Conclave never formulated/issued an official statement on that decision. 37% of the Supreme Conclave's members openly supported Archmagos Armanaut's views and disappeared/were removed from the chain of command under circumstances that were classified. The Supreme Conclave has not had a quorum ever since. Do you know where Armanaut is now? Data unavailable. No reports have mentioned Archmagos Armanaut since the incident on the Arc Mechanicus Hermetico, which led to the presumed destruction/disappearance of that void ship. My archive has no data on the Hermetico incident. The vessel was the Blessed Armanaut's base of operations. Is it lost, then? Pascal's voice is filled with anxiety. Were you among his followers? Negative. I had no contact with Archmagos Armanaut, and was never a member of his flock/disciples/retinue. However, my analysis of the doctrine he outlined inspired in me deep respect for/trust in him. I presume the conflict between you and Pascal has been resolved? The data received provides a basis for calling the fallen tech brother Tarsus's hypothesis into question. Out of respect for/due to lack of authorization to indict, followers of the Messiah of discontinuing, we will not proceed with the detainment, arrest, termination. The Omniscience knows all, comprehends all. Thank you, Tech Brother Opticon 22. Now that the conflict has been resolved, you may remain aboard my ship. Request denied. The Kappa Thread Supply Line delegation is leaving Dargonus, expresses gratitude for the hospitality/ceasefire, and proclaims its intent to return to Footfall to resume performing its regular functions. The tech priest looks over at Pascal as if waiting for something. Pascal's megadendrite briefly touches the shoulder of Opticon 22, who bows respectfully. All right.
In this tapestry of a world, I am the rogue thread.
All right. He killed a saint. Coming across a lot of Hanumans lately, you know? It's like the third one. Old cap.
You have my complete attention.
Oh. Where's the ear then? Oh, she's over here now.
My apologies. 19% of my processing power is engaged in the analysis of my tech comrade's memory. My response time may be longer than usual.
Pascal raises his eyes from a data slate connected to an augmetic. The augmetic used to be housed inside the skull of Tarsus, the tech priest who perished on your ship. Have you found anything out?
The data is scarce. His identification code is the same as mine, and his memory contains data confirming that the assassination did take place. Unfortunately, some of his memory was damaged by pulses broadcast by his battle harness. I can assert with some confidence that he was who he claimed to be, and that he served the Deus Mechanicus earnestly and eagerly.
Okay. But, like, why do you two share the same code?
My study of the minds of the tech comrades, Abel, Tarsus, and Demence, has revealed an anomalous similarity between the patterns of damage their memories sustained. What I attributed to cognitive idiosyncrasies, synaptic damage, and the distortive action of scrap code may be the result of a different kind of influence. The undecryptable data fragments in their memory arrays are mysteriously symmetrical.
Gave off the impression of a paranoid madman.
Notwithstanding his permanent state of agony, he was not cognitively dysfunctional. His desire to immediately destroy the object he had deemed profane was partly dictated by his engrammatic augmentics, which were receiving imperatives from his battle harness. In light of the oddness of our matching identification codes, I find merit in his hypothesis as to the existence of a clandestine malevolent agent or conspiracy operating inside our fraternity.
Who do you think was behind the assassination?
No data available. I will hypothesize that the assassination was instigated by an enemy of the Blessed Amanat's doctrine. I accept the possibility that the assassins were targeting me, only to be led astray by Tarsus and my own identical identifiers.
Okay.
I am concerned about the fate of Archmagus Amanat. According to Opticon 2-2, he went missing in the wake of the incident on an Arch Mechanicus, the Hermetico. Information about that ship and its perishing has been purged from the archives. I accept the possibility that the incident on the ship, the concealed data, and the assassination have all been part of a single conspiracy.
You were hunted too. Remember our meeting on Rykad Minoris and the people who posed as heretics?
This statement is true. There were also the bodies we discovered in the hallowed electrodynamic cenobium of unknown infiltrators who had posed as members of the cult of the Final Dawn. There is merit to the hypothesis that all carriers of Magos Haneman's identification code are targets of persecution.
Are you not surprised that Armanat's words had such an effect on Opticon 22?
I was not knowledgeable as to how popular Blessed Amanat's teaching was in explorator circles. The Cognizance fleet is massive. His ideas might have found a larger following on its periphery than in the Mother Squadron.
Has it ever occurred to you that all of these events may be part of Armanat's plan?
That is a valid hypothesis, but not a very likely one. Its truth value is irrelevant, as it does not contradict the necessity of establishing the fate of Archmagus Amanat.
The tech priest Vox was raspier than usual. Armanat was a believer, and he caused a schism. Tarsus was a believer, and he turned into a zealot. Faith can be dangerous.
Of course, faith is dangerous. Faith is the prerogative of the spirit, and a spiritless mind is an enemy of all existence. Without faith, there is no meaning in anything, no point to any aspirations or limitations. But faith can take different forms.
Gal looks at you askance, and the voice of his Vox synthesizer takes on an otherworldly profundity.
The form of prohibitions established by unknown elders. The form of an audacious violation of those prohibitions. The form of following dogma or of schism. The form of following the cycle or of discontinuing the cycle. In a system with two courses of action, schism is inevitable. And only one of these paths will be true, as truth is discreetly separate from untruth.
Pascal's visor seems to almost pierce you with a glow. Did Armanat believe the Elders to be in error?
Amanat did not reject any one specific prohibition, but found their cumulative effect to be oppressive. The system of rigid limitations had confined seekers of knowledge to a circular track, spelling doom for the thinking mind. And that cycle of repetition had to be broken. That was why he was dubbed the Messiah of Discontinuing.
Okay. Let's see. Only a fool would find no flaw in the creed, but true faith lies in not looking for flaws. My faith is more than a mere set of rules. It consists of ideals, which sometimes come into conflict with dogma, and I have been given the gift of will to set the dogma straight. For to believe in myself and my own ability to decide independently what is right. Faith is just the shackles of obedience. It is good for controlling my subordinates, but not good enough to control me. I'm not ready for a religious debate. Hmm. Let's go with this one. My faith is more a mere set of rules. It consists of ideals, which sometimes come into conflict with dogma, and I've been given the gift of will to set the dogma straight.
The Omnissiah has bestowed upon us the supreme mission, the quest for knowledge. The fact of its existence confirms that reason is yet to comprehend and quantify the universe in its entirety. This precludes the existence of any prohibition that could be considered universally relevant. All limitations need their exceptions, yet exceptions belie the inviolability of prohibitions.
Exactly. Pascal's voice takes on a thoughtful tone, and his otherworldly might peters out. Perhaps you will be able to find out more.
I will continue my research into the Blessed Martyr's memory with all due reverence.
I take my leave.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
Thank you.
May the Exalted One protect. Oh,
You're left. Standing in between these two dudes.
Elon Talk.
Okay. Hit the beastie. Just found out that X is used to swap weapons. Ah. Sure, they expired. Administratum. Make planet fall. Administratum. Spiders in a jar. Capital world of Dargonis is home to the high aristocracy of the Von Valankia's protectorate. The power of any one of the noble families exceeds that of the colonial governor, and securing the complete loyalty of the nobility is an important step in legitimizing the authority of the new rogue trader. The capital world of Von Valankia's dynasty has been found and is awaiting the arrival of its sovereign. Return to the palace of the Adeptus Administratum. It'd be two different things. Von Valankia's Palace Administratum. Time to see the lawyers, the clerks, the administrators. Get some paperwork filed. Or we inevitably get, like, you know, involved in some weird plot. Sermon of Adeptus Ferdinand the Ninth. The ninth. The expositor 5618 reads, "Submit to the letter of the law, for it is the will of the God Emperor." Turn after turn, the unceasing stream of petitioners pours through the palace doors. The strong-willed wait patiently while the weak-willed try everything they can to get ahead of the others. My eyes and mind failing me, or did the rogue trader's shoulder just brush against me? Alright, calm down. Greeting protocol. Welcome to the Palace of the Adeptus Administratum. Identifying your ladyship. Please follow me. Oh, what's this? I heard they've finished building another dozen levels on the east wing of the palace. When I joined the queue, the plans hadn't even been approved. The Palace of the Adeptus Administratum is a bulwark of order in the Von Vilankius Protectorate. Checking coordinates. Continue in this direction to reach your designation. Your visit has been logged.
They will see. Oh, yes, they all will see.
Thank you. Oh, it's paperwork. Mine now. The towering piles of papers and endless shelves heaving with ledgers evoke special reverence for the laws of the God Emperor in the hearts of the servants of the Adeptus Administratum. Yoink. Dusty note. Alam, I know it hasn't been even been a full cycle since I was appointed, but please cover for me with the Master of Seals for the Emperor's sake. I completely forgot about one extremely important seal. I'm going to run upstairs to do it. I don't think it'll take too long. I'll be back within a couple of hours. The note is covered in a thick layer of dust, just like the table on which it lies. Uh-oh. Master of Seals. Chronicle of case number 683-02720-LA2987-B4-126. The parchment looks grease-marked and old, as though it has passed through many, many pairs of hands. Servant of the Imperium, Elias Tantanal, filed a declaration with the Adeptus Administratum that he is the sole heir of House Tantanal and the legal sovereign of the northern continent of the planet Argona Rex. According to the submission, Elias Tantanal cannot exercise his right to his inheritance, as the wider family tree includes an individual who shares his full legal name. According to the petitioner, this individual is his great-grandfather, given the loss of documents confirming the death of the second claimant to the inheritance. Elias Tantanal is petitioning for confirmation of this relative's death and permission for the enactment of his inheritance rights. Petition received. Preliminary review cycle up to 15 Terran cycles. 15 years, Jesus. Forwarded for review, 23 Terran cycles, 4 turns from date of submission. Request for a copy of the death certificate of Elias Tantanal, sent to the archive of the Departamento Munitorium, 28 Terran cycles, 2 turns from date of submission. Petition rejected, 39 Terran cycles, 11 turns from date of submission. Second petition sent to the archive, 44 Terran cycles, 4 turns from date of submission. Petition approved, 52 Terran cycles from date of submission. After 48 repeated submissions from Elias Tantanal, a second request was sent to the archive, 79 Terran cycles, 7 turns from the date of submission. Copy of death certificate of Elias Tantanal, great-grandfather of the petitioner, received 84 Terran cycles, 6 turns from the date of submission. Documents forwarded for formulation of the decision granting permission for the enactment of the inheritance rights of Elias Tantanel, sole heir of his house and legal sovereign of the northern continent of the planet Argona Rex. 101 Terran cycles, 5 turns from date of submission. Death of Elias Tantanel, recorded by servants of the Adeptus Administratum, place of death, Q16, wills, legacies, and inheritances, waiting hall, palace of the Adeptus Administratum, Dargonus, 106 Terran cycles, 2 turns from date of submission. Death certificate of Elias Tantanel sent to the archive of the Departamento Munitorium, 114 Terran cycles, 10 turns from date of submission. Petition for the enactment of inheritance rights following the death of Elias Tantanel, for the issuance of a copy of the death certificate received from the deceased daughter, Eliza Tantanel, 114 Terran cycles, 11 turns from date of submission. Damn. Damn, that got held up in bureaucracy. Holy shit.
Patience? My nerves are frayed.
Departamento Exacta report. Auditing and reissuance of Great Tithe payment documentation for GX-75021 and GX-76021 in the last 2,836 Terran cycles. Entries mentioned planet GX-75029, 356 found, including copies. Entries mentioning planet GX-76021, 1 found, including copies. Full list confirmed by the Adeptus Terra of all planetary objects located within the territory of the illustrious rogue trader dynasty of Von Valancius was received 164 Terran cycles ago. After careful reconciliation of the data, it was found that planetary object GX-76021 has not been included in the collection of the Imperial Tithe for the last 2,836 Terran cycles. In the same period, the planetary object GX-75021 was included in the taxable sites, but did not pay its Imperial Tithe, thereby failing to uphold its sacred obligation to the Imperium. Subsequent analysis of archive documentation revealed the absence of documentation, confirming the existence of planetary object GX-75021, unlike planetary object GX-76021, which was discovered in files dated more than 2,836 cycles ago. Based on the internal inventory of investigation, the Adeptus Administratum decrees that any mention of planetary object GX-75021 must be replaced with GX-76021. The governor of planetary objects GX-76021 must pay the tithe for the preceding 2,838 Terran cycles within a period of no more than 50 Terran cycles. Oof. Having to pay almost 3,000 years worth of taxes. Oh no. And in the event of non-payment of the tithe within the prescribed period, planetary object GX-76021 will be seized for the needs of the Adeptus Administratum, and 95% of the population will be immediately subjected to servitude in perpetuus for the benefit of the Imperium. Note, a precise reckoning of the tithe amount required in throne gouts is appended to this report. Note, an advisory letter has been sent to the Departamento Munitorium recommending that the Departamento conduct its own internal inventory investigation to determine whether planetary object GX-76021 has fulfilled its sacred obligation to provide recruits for the Astra Militarum. Cool. Inkwells of Lavalia the Impartial, first master of seals of the Coronist Expanse. Sacred Scroll, the 1005 admonitions of Master of Inventory of Silius to the Adepts of the Administratum. Alright. Master of Seals. An ancient-looking woman in a voluminous robe peers at you critically through her ocular lenses when you descend into the bowels of her bureaucratic domain. Another noble bypassing the queue under the pretext of just wanted to ask. All you highborns ever want is just to ask, but what about protocol? That's what I'm asking. Who is going to follow protocol? Jay glances at you and whispers, "What? So I paid off a few clerks to let us skip the queue, Shireen. Your time is more important to me than any little formalities. Very well, don't just stand there. You're here now, or do you think the Master of Seals has nothing better to do than receiving unexpected visitors?" The old woman beckons over a servo skull floating nearby. "Begin entry, current hour, current turn, current cycle, 41st millennium." Metal manipulators immediately begin feverishly clacking, taking dictation. Don't you want to know who I am? Medea von Valankius, sole heir of rogue traitor Theodore von Valankius, may the throne's radiance guide her path on the other side. In a practice move, the Master of Seals twists her magnifying ocular lenses and examines the ledger in front of her. Sole person to publicly assert their claim, to be precise. Abelard Wissarion, the old woman directs her gaze over your shoulder. Seneschal in right hand to the now departed Theodore von Valankius, and of her now extant heir. Colorless eyes of the Master of Seals suddenly fix on Cassia. Lady Navigator of House Orselio, whose name and deeds are unknown to me. She points her finger at the old ledger. Says here that the von Valankius dynasty has owed your house 1 gold throne for 30 cycles. Here, take this. And I, at last, will mark the matter closed. Cassia stares in puzzlement at the gleaming coin in her hand. House Orselio thanks you for your service, Master of Seals. The old woman smacks her lips in satisfaction and nods curtly. Of course, I know who is standing before me. It is my job to know. Jay shifts, deliberately putting her jeweled augmetic on display. Does that mean that my reputation has preceded me as well, esteemed Damar? No, I have received no reports about you. What is this place? Tell me about yourself. I am the law, and I oversee order in this section of the Cornus Expanse, as well as on worlds of the Von Valankius Protectorate, in accordance with ancient covenants made with your ancestors. I hold the power to grant petitioners what they seek and to punish criminals for failing to carry out the Imperium's will. Jay continues in a whisper. She's ancient enough herself. Look at her. She's a bona fide living mummy. What is this place? The Master of Seals raises her eyebrows in surprise. You are in the very heart of the palace of the Adeptus Administratum. Day and night, hundreds of thousands of prefects, ordinates, scribes, servants, and servitors carry out their duties to humanity and the Von Valankius dynasty here, never setting foot outside its boundaries for decades at a time. But knowledge comes through comparison. There are entire worlds belonging to the Administratum, so this palace is but a humble cog in the blessed machine of the Imperium. Tell me about the work of the Adeptus Administratum. Master Seal tuts in displeasure. One would think the Protectorate's heir has no care for her tongue if she is so willing to wag it to the point of blistering. However, I, despised servant of the Emperor that I am, do not possess the gift of unallocated time. Let us proceed to the matter of your application. My companion wishes to obtain a Mercatum Tabula Officiale. Master of Seals peers over her ocular lens at Jay in disbelief. Then she looks at you. I take it you are her sponsor? In that case, you must submit a written application in conformity with template number 404.0.01, as well as written permission for the processing and notarization of the personal data of your most sacred personage. Without it, I cannot issue Mistress Haydari, the form of collecting the seals required to obtain the Mercatum Tabula Officiale, the certificate of the official trade representative. At these words, the saccharine smile drops from Jay's face. Seals? What seals? We will discuss that when Medea von Valankius has prepared the primary documentation. Abelard lets out a stoic sigh and rolls his eyes. You get the feeling that this is not his first personal interaction with the administratum bureaucracy, nor is it his second. Ugh. There's no way of getting around these formalities. Fear the wrath of the immortal one, your ladyship. What would become of your protectorate, or even the Imperium itself, if every person did what you are proposing? No. Lex Imperialis, Volume 2, 249, Paragraph 18/2, Amendment of the 12th cycle of the previous millennium clearly states, actions that circumvent the sacred law of the Imperium in pursuit of personal gain are manifestation of human weakness, which is subject to eradication. And if I refuse, then I'm afraid Mistress Haydari will never receive her much-desired certificate, and I will be obliged to levy a fine against your noble name for wasting the valuable time of the Master of Seals. Shireen, I know the Atsi have thwarted our plans, and that unforeseen circumstances have arisen, never mind. So the esteemed Damar wants us to fill in a couple forms. I will do that with great pleasure. Wait, do I have to be the one who does it? Complete application. 404.1. The perfectly sharpened quill scratches pleasantly on the parchment, but for the first few minutes, the obfuscatory phrasing, footnotes, amendments, you are forced to write out the same details over and over about you, the Protectorate, Theodore von Valankis, Jay, and then also every living person who bears your family name. If you do not know all the required information, you must complete supplementary forms. 1 hour passed. The Master of Seals nods in approval and stows the scroll into a tube, labeled with your name. Next is the consent form for the processing and notarization of the personal data of your most sacred personage. Give your written consent on the presented form. 1 hour, so 2 hours. Scroll is whipped away into another tube by the Master of Seals. Protocol executed, application received, processed, approved. The servo scribe taps out each word after its mistress's pronouncement. Come on, esteemed Damar. What's that you were saying about seals? The old woman unhurriedly holds out a printed scroll to Jay. Here is your document, Mistress Haydari. Unfortunately, it does not yet have legal force. I can certify it as a sacred Mercatum Tabula Officiale once it has received 2 seals of approval. They are easy to obtain, and the Imperium Court Administratum servitors have been handling such tasks for over 150 cycles. There is one such servitor here on Dargonus, in the Rogue Trader's Palace. The second is duty-bound to keep the seal in the Telecos Epsilon system. Uncertified document. A Mercatum Tabula Officiale. This document requires several signatures and seals to have legal force. Why can the seals not be affixed here in the Administratum Palace? According to Amendment 3-C/8, implemented by Prefectus Estonia II of Dargonus, one of the seals must be kept in the palace of the ruler of the Von Valankis Protectorate, remaining a symbol of the unbreakable link between the Sacred Warrant and the Adeptus Administratum. The second seal, the ocular lenses perched on her nose click as she rifles through moldering scrolls with her wrinkled fingers, is held in the Telecos Epsilon system in accordance with the decree OL-008/ZN. Fortunately, after a fire 200 cycles ago, all the remains of the original decree is an addendum certified by an unknown adept with the initials AA. No instructions repealing this decree were ever received from Holy Terra, therefore the seal remains where it ought to be. Why am I obliged to handle this? Handle such a task myself? Decree 424, Clause 79, Amendment 8 of the Law on Certifying a Mercatum Tabula Officiale with sponsorship of a bearer of the warrant of trade. The sponsoring rogue trader must be present at the placing and certifying of each seal. If this requirement is not met, the document will be deemed invalid. Find Ministron servitors and have them place 2 seals of approval. The goal is clear. The Master of Seals nods with satisfaction. Please do return once you have prepared the documents. Okay, we have one of them. We've got one of them. Find the seal on Janus. Find the seal on Dargonus. Wait. Don't I have that? Janus' second most important administrative center. One of the seals must be kept by one of the officials there. Now, I'm fairly certain I already have it. Oldest to newest. Right there, worn seal. Oh. The wax isn't on it. Well. Okay. Oh, Jay.
What lies beyond?
I'm gonna go get some wax seals. Hold up. Okay.
Curiosity sings in my veins.
Got to go to Janus now. A trickle of disturbing news came from the navigation chambers over the last few days. Allegedly, there is a vast shadow following the void ship through the depths of the Sea of Souls, mere hours before emerging in real space. The vessel shuddered. An unidentified leviathan had emerged from the roiling warp, wrapped its tentacles around the ship, and started squeezing, trying to crack the hull like an egg. Trust in the navigator's talent. The ship's navigator engaged the warp monster in invisible combat by giving orders from her chamber. By following the Astronomicon's guiding light and struggling against the mighty alien seeking to break her at the same time. The guide managed to pry the void vessel from the nightmarish creature's grasp and execute an emergency translation into real space, with minimal losses among the crew and new insights into the nature of warp entities. Steady rhythm of life aboard. Okay. The reaping. Alright, let's get the seal, I guess. There was that one dude who was like a tribe guy. Saw them again. Horrible,
There will be
unnatural
no
creatures they were.
peace in my wake.
Atilius? Atilius Quint nervously tugs at the hem of his dusty cloak and bows respectfully. Your ladyship, the subjects of Janus welcome you. What cares have brought you to our humble world on this occasion? How are things at Janus? Besides the Xenos that have settled in our forests and periodically frighten the people, everything's calm, your ladyship. We have managed to come to an understanding of sorts, although not without concessions on our part, in particular regarding the placement of our new agro-complexes. You made a pact with the Aldari on Janus and let them remain on the planet. The Emperor as my witness, Janus will continue to serve the von Valankis dynasty, but not in precisely the same way as before. I require a seal to certify the Mercatum Tabula Officiale. The secretary nods energetically. Of course, of course. It would be an honor to assist the rogue trader. Wait but a few moments, your ladyship, and your humble servant will have your seal ready. Jay's expression is pensive as she twists a lock of hair around her middle finger. Interesting, Shalene. I assumed we would be dealing with servitors, but no. Some places in your domain still have this work being performed by people of flesh and blood. Beg your pardon? What's this about servitors? I have faithfully performed my sacred duties to the Imperium and the Administratum all my life, and guarding the seals is part of that. And after half a century, not a single seal damaged. I keep them in a special case, and I oil the handles every month, as the rules stipulate. Jay shrugs. I'm merely repeating the words of the Master of Seals on Dargonus. Servitors have replaced an entire category of lowly bureaucrats assigned to the von Valankis planets, around 10 years ago now. But after 70 years of service, and not a single directive, not from Holy Terror or from Dargonus, a complete breakdown in communication. What a farce, what an insult against all processes. Scarlet patches blossom on the secretary's pale face. But this is easily remedied. If the Administratum requires such a servant, then I will immediately begin preparations for servitorization. The will of the Lex Imperialis is supreme. Jay nervously licks her lips. She clearly did not expect this response to her remark. Atilius, I do not think the Exalted One has any particular desire to see you lobotomized and turned into a mindless clanking ghoul just because someone somewhere changed the law. Okay. Atilius, there's no need for that. Yes, any servitor can place a seal, but can it do so while granting me a sincere smile or impressing me with its implacable finesse and attention to detail? I think not, but you can. You serve humanity while remaining as you are. Could a servitor replace a true administrative officer who is passionate about his work? He is correct, Jay. Each of us must follow the letter of the law. Damn. After lots of prevarication, Atilius's hunched figure sags. Of course, you are right. I will continue to serve Janus and the von Valankis Protectorate as before. And today I will dispatch a request for copies and edicts issued by the Imperium over the last 50 years. Who knows what else we have missed here on Janus. Jay lets out a breath, obviously relieved. That is wonderful, Atilius. Just wonderful. Just don't go poking at your eyes with a long needle. At least until you receive a direct order to do so from your precious administratum. Here you are. Secretary proffers the sealed certificate with care. And may the Emperor bless your path. Appreciate the local species. Ah yes, the flora of Janus can take your breath away, while the fauna can inadvertently kill you. Take my leave.
tapestry of a world,
Alright, we got one of
I
them.
am the rogue thread.
Now we go to get the next one. Oh, nothing happened. Sick. Right. You're on Belankis. Henrik wanted to come with us. We also need Jay. Fuck. What do I drop? Take Argenta out of the party. For like the first time since the game began. Vroom, vroom. Long live the rogue trader. Oh, we got some people whispering, huh? Glory to the great rogue trader. Greetings, your ladyship. Mortis. Hello. Clementia Brisarian. Oh! The Emperor protects. Welcome home, your ladyship. The stately woman in a long full dress uniform makes a graceful curtsy. Her short graying hair does not obscure her stern features. I am Clementia Brisarian, Court Chancellor of the Von Valankis dynasty. On behalf of all of Dargonis, please accept my deepest condolences on the untimely passing of Theodora von Valankis. Her departure is a terrible blow to us all. But as one star expires, another always flares to life. And although still overcome with bitterness and grief, your subjects hope that you will become the Trade Dynasty's guiding light in these trying times. Clementia. Abelard offers a reserved nod. She nods in return, and the lines on his brow soften ever so slightly. Achilles Scalander. The young man quickly brings a respirator to his burnt face and bows his head courteously. His raven black hair veils his burns and skull implants, and his thin metal fingers creak quietly as he offers a welcoming gesture. Achilles Scalander, secretary at the Administratum Department. I hope your journey to Dargonis was not darkened by unwanted troubles. It was uneventful, thank you. The Emperor protected us on our journey from the stars. Oh, it was terrible. Did not realize my immense security was so illusory. We had some incidents, but those are irrelevant at this moment. Quite right, your ladyship. What happened cannot be changed, but you still have great deeds ahead of you. So let us look to the future with hope in our hearts. Does your ladyship wish to survey the grounds? Or perhaps we could sate your curiosity by answering any questions you might have. Governor Urban Drivestem has been notified of your arrival on Dargonus and will visit the palace shortly. The preparations for the official visit are well in hand, but your ladyship still has plenty of time before the meeting. What did you say your last name was? When she nods politely. Ah, you heard correctly, your ladyship. I am of House Viserion, Lord Abelard's granddaughter and direct descendant. The succession of service is an effective good. It grants new generations understanding of their functions within the mechanism. Chancellor Wisarium has held her position at the von Valancius court for many years. She earned Lord Captain Theodora's respect through acts of great perseverance. There's no room for doubt. Blood has nothing to do with it. Emperor blesses those who strengthen humanity's domain through their deeds. You have reason to be proud of your progeny. Everlord looks at you in surprise, but then immediately puts on an air of indifference. Thank you, Lord Captain. Why isn't the governor here with you to greet me? Apologies, your ladyship. Governor Drivestem's residence is on the other side of the world, by the administrative palace of Dargonus. I was just over there. We could have met. We sent word as soon as you entered the system, but it takes time to travel the great distances of your domain. Chancellor Wisarion appears unruffled, but you cannot shake the thought that the governor's lateness is a subtle political gesture designed to test the limits of what is acceptable when it comes to interacting with the new rogue trader. And we keep getting 69 experience. Hell yeah, dude. I would like to rest before the meeting. Where are my chambers? They are very close, but just down the hall. That is also where the study and the audience chamber are. Achilles' face brightens with a pearly white smile, restoring some of his former good looks. Lady Theodora's study has remained locked since her last departure, but on account of your arrival, we have arranged for it to be tidied up. It is ready whenever you need it. You are dismissed. I apologize for my bluntness, but I have a request to make. Perhaps, before the meeting takes place, the illustrious Lord Captain could spare a few minutes for a conversation with me. Achilles bows his head. I am certain that you will find my report on the state of affairs in the von Valancius Protectorate most useful. Blank screen. There we go. Oh. Ah, so it didn't really matter who I brought with me. Serving local flora and fauna, I see. Right. Greetings, your ladyship.
A tantalizing anomaly.
Huh? Huh? This. Alright. Toss a coin. Glinting in the light, the coin falls into clear water and sinks to the bottom. Oh yeah. You have a gamma messenger? Oh, I can't go that way. It was a pretty swanky house. What does it say? Xenos, mutants, heretics, kill, burn, purge? I would like to get that poster replaced, please. An ancient cogitator linked to the palace's system networks. and cables just out to be tripped on. Fight today. Your ladyship, what a blessing it is to see you. Janice's peeps. Head of Janice's delegation. A living fruit-bearing tree in the heart of a hive world is a fantastical sight. They probably use a lot more water to tend to this tree than the average Dargona citizen can hope to receive in their daily ration. Oh. I am not a river to my people. Hear that? The walls of your home suffocate me, Elontak. I long to leave this twisted world at the first opportunity. Such illustrious society. Such well-heeled nobles indeed. It would be worth visiting Dargonus even without getting to know you, Shireen. This world offers high scope for doing business. Can't see what this man just said. May the God Emperor protect you, Badia. Glory to the great rogue trader. Margarator Tech Priest. The Lex Mechanics are exchanging binaric tirades, not noticing your presence. Tech Priest Cygnus Alpha 36 is unable to respond to your request and will be occupied for another 6.48 standard cycles. Please submit your request on form H45/2. Average processing time, 5 standard cycles. Oh, that looks like I can take it. Hey, buddies. Apparently I cannot take that. Glory to the God Emperor. By your mercy and your blessing we march into darkness, turning into dust everything that abhors your vision, and in this service we rejoice. Artist, Hector Pyreman. Material, oil paints. Lithopone. Artist, blood. Compliance with the Imperial Creed, rigorous. The quiet humming of servo motors is occasionally interrupted by clicking coming from somewhere within the habitability. So possible. Gooey. So it is 100% going to become a battlefield at some point, right? Object. Trophies of the Von Valankis dynasty captured over the past 3 centuries. Access level restricted. Compliance with Imperial Creed questionable. Special permission granted to the bearer of the warrant. Got a gun. Got 2 guns. Imagine this was a gift, not a commissioned piece. Considering how often the Sovereign is away and how much this place is managed in her absence, I wouldn't be surprised if the sight of this painting on the wall is a surprise for her as well. That's not a painting, that's a gun in a display case. What the fuck you talking about? What this? The plaque lists the names of each rogue trader to have led the Von Valankis dynasties, dating back to the day the capital world was founded. I've heard of the rich history of the Von Valankis, but these stories are beyond my expectations. Turn your gaze to this object, which is invested with special significance. Is a tourist visit? A huge role in the development of the imperial cult on Dargonus. The mission of the Radiant Ecclesiarchy was founded after the arrival of 2 void ships carrying generations of pilgrims. This artifact was found in the lifetime of a great ancestor of the current rogue trader, and is revered as a shrine, marking the triumph of humanity over its enemies. I know people who are willing to pay good money for such curiosities. Serves as a reminder of the sacred mission of the rogue trader, whose every thought and aspiration is directed toward one goal, the service of his will. Intriguing. Incredible. Anything else to say? This completes the retelling of the Von Valankis Chronicle. Lift up your thoughts to the chosen ones of the God Emperor and thank him for granting such a protector to your world. I sold an island so I could visit the Von Valankis estate. It was worth every throne. Oh my god, dude. What the fuck are you doing? What the hell? Long live the Von Valankis dynasty. The Emperor protects. And they all clap in unison. And leave. What a blessing to see you in good health, your ladyship. Realized that I didn't actually, right. Look at this. Standing upon the altar is an ancient image of Saint Macarius. Its regal frame is covered in marks. The relic was claimed in the battle on a remote and forgotten world. For your benevolent deeds, it is an honor to speak with you. Good, good. Where's your next tourist destination? The actual palace? Wow. Good for them. Into the palace we go. Like Heinrich wanted to come with me to speak with Achilles. Welcome, your ladyship. Let me inform you of the location of the chambers of your dynastic estate. Yeah? The main throne room is up the stairs and straight ahead. Your subject, Achilles Scalander, informed me that he humbly awaits the opportunity to meet you there. Meet with you there, rather. If your ladyship wishes to rest after your long journey, then your personal chambers are up the stairs and on the right. Okay, okay. Points, slowly. If you need anything, whatever your soul desires, I'll be right next to your chambers, eagerly awaiting your orders. Ah, so you're my personal bodyguard. Got it. Thank you for your service. What is this? Oh, this is a little skull motif. What are you doing here? You are supposed to be cleaning up in the blue chambers. What? Again? The handles and the handrails in the blue chambers are polished 5 times a day. Might as well send a servitor. Can I not actually go this way? What kind of skull is that? You talk back to me one more time and I'll grant you your wish. You'll be cleaning up as a brainless battery-powered tin can. Twinkies. I'm guessing that's like throne room. They're done speaking. Howdy. Where's the rest of my crew? Oh. Up here. This isn't my room. Or maybe it is. I don't know. It probably is, actually. Oh, there's another door here. And I can't go into. What's this? According to the inscription of the statue, this is a gift from House Grapak to the Von Valancius dynasty. Oh, very nice. Oh, keep posting, sir. Oh, they fixed themselves. Abelard. My compliments to your taste in art. The collection here is extensive and most interesting. It's not my taste in art, Cassia. It's my predecessors.
How intriguing.
Oh. Yoinkies. Oh. Mistress Haydari. Oh. What's up, dude? We're visiting our palace. I can see the family resemblance with Abelard now. You cannot see farther than your own nose, my dear Clementia. It wasn't a bribe, it was a gift. Now about that seal. Jay, probably should just, wait. Let the rogue trader decide. Yeah, I should have probably just waited for me. Your ladyship. I accidentally somehow skipped the first one, so I guess I pressed space, so I don't know if that auto advanced. Also, hello, the sheep that could. How you doing? Welcome in. Your ladyship, I apologize for this ugly scene, but might I ask you to rein in Mistress Haydari and put a stop to her inflammatory actions towards me? As the Exalted One is my witness, Shireen, I've tried everything I could to spare you any unnecessary headache over the seals of the Mercatum Tabula Officiale. I even showed this aide with a temper worse than a sandstorm the certificate with your signature, but your Chancellor merely kept batting me away with her flail of baseless denials. I suspect that the reason for this has nothing to do with my humble personage. Clementia purses her lips and glowers at Jay. Oh no, this isn't about me at all. Jay narrows her eyes as she peers into Clementia's face until the latter finally looks away. I see. Well, Chancellor, will you tell us yourself, or should I help you? Whatever's the matter, Mistress Brisarian. I'm afraid that my words may anger your ladyship. Clementia lowers her head in shame as if offering it up to be removed from her shoulders. The seal you are looking for was lost over a quarter of a century ago. Her ladyship Theodora von Valancius ordered a new one to be delivered from the Imperium, but as you well know, we are a long way away from Holy Terra, And with warp storms ravaging the Cornus expanse, we have been unable to receive a replacement to this day. I presume the one responsible was punished properly and harshly? Give Clementia the seal with the Winter Scale coat of arms. Could this be the seal in question? This is, without a doubt, the Administratum seal from Winter Scale's realm, but why is it the original and not a copy? I think I understand. Well, the laws of the Imperium do not prohibit heirs of other houses from using the seal in times of need. I will order to have servants of the machine court create a duplicate so as to avoid an embarrassing predicament in the future. Let's discuss with the Chancellor in private. You're dismissed. Oh, by all means, Shadeen. I dare not waste any more of the precious balm that is your time on matters related to me, if I may excuse myself. What are your responsibilities as Chancellor? To put it simply, I am your trade representative. Any and all decrees, deals, official communication, and meetings are first reviewed by me and then forwarded to you and from you down the hierarchy. My purview also includes overseeing your ladyship's property, the palace, the estates, the many gardens, and other domains on Dargonus that you have inherited from Lady Theodora, and whenever you are present on Dargonus, consider me your personal secretary. What can you tell me about Dargonus? All deals and important decisions are made here in the capital. Many years ago, an ancestor of Lady Theodora signed an agreement with the Adeptus Administratum, which allowed for efficient management of the world and the neighboring systems. In accordance with the decree, a share of the planet's population was assigned to the Administratum and converted into servitor scribes. They now toil across the entire world. Dargonus is also the seat of several noble families who run all the major planets in the Protectorate. If I may express my not-so-humble opinion, they care very little about who exactly stands at the helm. Those piranhas think about their own profits just as much as they do about the prosperity of the Protectorate itself, if not more. And, lastly, Dargonus has its own fleet, a luxury unavailable to the vast majority of other worlds in your realm. In addition to warships, the Protectorate also employs privateer ships, which are used to transport cargo between worlds. Does the capital stay in contact with the other worlds in the Protectorate? Unfortunately, not at this time, your ladyship. After a few representatives of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica on Dargonus went into a frenzy, some of the Psychers were tragically pacified by the respective authorities. Since then, communication with the neighboring systems have been unreliable at best. Thanks to the Master of Mankind, thanks be to the Master of Mankind that you managed to find your way to the capital. If the noble houses are so volatile, what sense is there in keeping them? Over the many centuries, an intricate hierarchy has formed within the ruling elite of Dargonus. The great houses do more than plunder your treasury. It is replenished, to a large degree, thanks to their administrative work and their lands. Naturally, you can get rid of anyone whom you consider surplus to requirements, but right now, it could threaten the fragile stability that is currently holding the Protectorate together. Are there any other issues I should be aware of? Apart from the disrupted communications, Dargonus was recently raided by enemies of humanity. However, the fleet under the command of Captain Marthius Viserion triumphed over the accursed Xenos. If you asked for my opinion on this matter, we have the situation completely under control. You catch her avoiding your gaze for just a moment, but for the first time. It's obvious that Clementia is looking out for her house's good name, but despite the confidence in her tone, you can tell that she does not entirely believe her own words. Tell me about Governor Drivestem. Urban Drivestem is a well-respected man, and not just on Dargonus, but throughout the Protectorate. For many centuries, his house has supported the capital's administration and the logistics between the Von Valankius systems. The Drivestem's efforts secured years of order and prosperity for Dargonus. What's more, Lady Theodora personally insisted that Lord Urband specifically be made the next governor. The way you speak of Drivestem, I hear a hint of either contempt or resentment. No, no, I don't believe I feel either, your ladyship. Clementia's steely eyes stare into the distance, her jaw clenching visibly. She speaks in a polite but clipped manner, clearly flustered by your insight. We have different views on how to run a world. We sometimes have discussions over the laws that are enacted, but we both work for the good of the von Valankis Protectorate. That much can be said without a doubt. Thank you for your report, Chancellor. I serve the von Valankis Protectorate, your ladyship. Achilles Scalander? Any problems with him? Why, none at all, your ladyship. Secretary Scalander is an outstanding individual and a loyal servant of the von Valankis dynasty. In Lady Theodora's absence, we collaborated on a number of issues related to the well-being of your domain, and he has proven himself quite capable. And I don't know why, but even the governor trembles before Achilles, which is unusual for a man of his, shall we say, standing. The last words bring a slight smile to her lips. I must take my leave. I am at your service at any time, day or night, your ladyship. My good old Dargonus. It's boring here without Lady Theodora. She loved to liven up this sleepy little place with a couple of crazy decrees and public floggings of flabbergasted nobles. The von Valankis dynasty throne, a visible symbol of the rogue trader's power, which now belongs to you. Lander? My appearance has caused a slight disturbance in the ranks of the servants of the Omnisaya assigned to the palace. Analysis of the performance of rituals and maintenance litanies has produced a satisfactory result. Abelard? While we're on Dargonus, I will keep the secretary's reports and I will check the secretary's reports and keep an eye on the logisticians. Master Danrock does his job well, but a little scrutiny goes a long way with him. The lack of observers on this world has led your nobles to become extremely complacent. Today alone, I overheard 3 statements that, if I so wanted, could be turned into grounds for a charge of heresy. Oh. If you wanted, eh? The slender figure, clad in robes made from expensive fabric, shudders from violent coughing. Pressing a gilded respirator to his face, the man takes several deep breaths. Achilles, it's been many moons. I hope your cousin is feeling well. Achilles covers his burnt lips, trying and failing to suppress a coughing fit. She is in good health. She sends her regards to you, as well as her wishes for your swift return. Heinrich frowns. For as long as the stars shine in the sky, my vigil continues. So it does. Achilles thumps himself on the chest with his augmented hand. You hear a clanging of metal against metal. I'm not so foolish as to fail to notice a conversation in code. Your insight deserves credit, rogue trader. Then again, I expected nothing less from Theodora von Valankis' successor. Heinrich looks at Achilles. Allow me to introduce Achilles Scalander properly. In addition to his duties as Secretary of the Administratum, he acts as an agent of the Golden Throne under my aegis. Master Scalander was transferred into my remit by a colleague who is engaged in other matters in the Cornos Expanse. I'm sure you will find Achilles' service useful, especially when dealing with the schemes of humanity's foes within the borders of your protectorate. Greetings, Lady Medea von Valancius. Allow me once again to express my deepest condolences on the loss of Lady Theodora. I will do everything I can to track down and destroy all of Kunrad Voigtvir's accomplices on the capital world. You know anything about what has become of Conrad Voigtvir? The former Master Whispers is a heretic and a traitor to the dynasty. Achilles nods grimly. Word of his treason has reached Argonis too late. Conrad came to the planet and left it almost immediately, once he had sown discord in the minds of the gullible and naive. The worst of the rumors he started was that you were the one responsible for Lady Theodora's sudden demise. Of course, your loyal subjects did their best to skin alive any who showed signs of doubt. But it seems unlikely that the Wardens got to everyone who has allowed doubt into their heart and now nurtures it in secret. What are your responsibilities here on Dargonis? Officially, I'm a secretary at this world's administratum department. Thus, officially, I'm afraid I can't disclose that even to you. In short, I collect and investigate reports of heresy taking root on upstanding planets of humanity. Above all else, I am concerned about the Xenos threat that hangs over the entire Cornus expanse, including your protectorate. Sadly, my mission was complicated by the recent warp disturbances. I'm still trying to re-establish contact with many of my agents. Okay, so he's an Inquisitor. Tell me about the Xenos. Residents of the local systems are no strangers to skirmishes with enemies of humanity, but recently the loathsome beasts seem to have completely flown off the handle. We're receiving reports from ships that made it through the warp to Dargonis. Both they and the colonies that they departed are being attacked. We have identified the breed of Xenos that pose this threat, the Drukhari, humanity's ancient and insidious foes. Be vigilant on your travels. The Xenos will undoubtedly attack a rogue trader's ship should they find the circumstances to be in their favor. Unfortunately, in the host of humanity, there are those who are willing to grovel before our enemies in the hopes of a valuable reward. You may be interested to know that we are on the trail of such heretics. Achilles glances at a data slate. Overwhelming evidence indicates that a marauded void station in Legrand's belt is being used as a base by a band of pirates who are not above dealing with Xenos. I was unable to persuade the Chancellor of the need to dispatch a ship there, but perhaps you would like to pay a courtesy call to those scoundrels yourself? I think I've already done that. You know anything about the Cult of the Final Dawn? My knowledge is deplorably limited, your ladyship. All my attention has been focused on tracking Xenos activity. I'm certain that Master von Calix can tell you more about those heretics than I, about your unofficial work. Achilles' amber eyes flash with interest. Yes? Whom do you truly serve, the rogue trader or the interrogator of the Inquisition? Achilles quickly glances at Heinrich. And whom does the rogue trader serve? The Golden Throne? The Protectorate? Could it be that one stems from the other? And if so, is there any sense in discussing it? I want a list of all your agents and the means to contact them. I understand your desire as a rogue trader to have everything under your control. Yet I am not at liberty to make use of classified information related to the interrogator's agents in whatever way I see fit. Achilles lowers his gaze and nods politely. Heinrich lets out a sigh of disappointment. There's no point in pressing my agents. None of them would ever reveal such vital information, especially not in my presence. I've learned what I wanted to. Achilles bows and brings the respirator to his burnt lips. I have other questions to ask. I sincerely hope that I can answer every one of them. Scars on your face. What happened? About, he coughs, 5 years ago, there was an accident. Several tanks of promethium exploded in the storehouse at my estate, and I was burned alive under the rubble. The Emperor preserved my soul, and the skilled physicians of Dargona saved my body, except for my lungs, with which I had to part. I presume the incident was an attempt on my life, but the identity of whoever was behind it remains a mystery. Promise me a report on the current state of affairs in the Protectorate? I have already forwarded all official reports to your Seneschal. As for the conversation we're having right now, I wouldn't trust any paper or data slate with its contents. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, was perfectly aware of Dargonus's political environment. You, however, have only just arrived on the capital world, and I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles of Dargonus, much like nobles on most worlds, are akin to spiders in a jar, ready to pounce on whoever is the weakest, or whomever they deem to be the weakest. The nobles of Dargonus are well-respected, rich, and powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favor for many years and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the rogue trader. Every family pursues its own selfish interests, and each one expects that with the transition of power, they will retain and even add to their lands and wealth. The families I would recommend giving particular attention to are the Drivestems, the Gapraks, and the Sourbacks. I should also mention the Rosarians, not a noble house per se, but a family that was part of Lady Theodora's inner circle. To the Blue Bloods, great displeasure. Tell me about the Drivestems. The Drivestems are an ancient governor house of Dargonus. Predictably, the greater the wealth of the von Valancius Protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. Their reputation is flawless, except for one detail. We have evidence that urban Drivestem's rivals seem to have the misfortune of regularly falling victim to Xenos raids. I find that these attacks are always a little too advantageous for the Drivestems, but we lack solid proof, and it might never surface. The closer an official is to the rogue trader, the braver and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is a heresy that can be overlooked only in the case of the von Valancius heir, not her servant. What makes the Gaprak special? The Gapraks hail from a remote forge world, and among their distant relatives there are many servants of the Omnissiah, and the house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus, both in spirit and in their business connections. The Gapraks oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate until recently. Ever since the astropathic communication of Kiava Gamma was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planet placed in their care. I've been to Kiava Gamma already. The planet was tainted by the cult of the Final Dawn. Ilias shakes his head. These are grim tidings. It's a tragedy that an industrial world of such tremendous capacity was brought down by the pernicious influence of the archenemy. Perhaps my colleague can pick up the cultist trail in the cold void. Of course, it would be a small consolation to all of us. Tell me about House Sourback. Religious and hardworking. The Sourabacks own many enterprises, including distillation manufactorums that produce promethium. I must note that lately members of the Sourback family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the von Valancius dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora is a bit too keen to leave her worlds without proper oversight. I would like to know more about the Rosarians. The Rosarians are a line founded by Lady Theodora's seneschal, and as such are nominally considered nobility, at least from the standpoint of the naval Imperial Navy, from which Lord Abelard hails. On Dargonus, however, their position is precarious. Firstly, they never were granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dargonus, and secondly, the other families do not see them as equals, but more as upstarts clinging to the rogue trader's favor. The Rosarians are responsible for the capital world's fleet and the majority of the cargo shipments on domestic routes. I now feel the urge to have every one of those sycophants executed at once? What? Why would I do that? Was there anything else you wanted to report? There was, your leadership. At this time, it concerns the main reason for my presence on the planet, Xenos and the threat they pose both to you and to humanity as a whole. The last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me, my eyes and ears scattered throughout the Cornus expanse. Warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the immaterium. Many of my observers and contacts have gone dark or have been killed by some calamity or other. Still, I managed to establish communication with some key individuals who were able to warn me about incoming threats, including Xenos raids. Ilias looks you in the eyes without blinking. It is within my power to supply you with intelligence on where and when the Xenos will strike next. I do not doubt that Governor Drivestem will beg you for protection against the Xenos, and in this fight, the information from my contacts will serve you well. I beseech you, Medea. If I ever report a threat looming over a ship or a planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the rogue trader and her mighty void ship to avoid a disaster. What about the noble houses of Dargonus? Let's take my leave. Achilles bows. According to the message I received a few minutes ago, Governor Drivestem has arrived at court. I imagine that the Chancellor is already prepared to arrange a meeting. All that's left is notify her that you are ready to see Urband. Right. We shall meet Urband next time, though. As it is 7 o'clock on a Thursday, I haven't eaten. And I got some leftover spaghetti with my name on it. But we're gonna end it here for today. Boop.